And welcome everybody to the Responsible Innovation Summit. My name is Chris Gordon. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's very strange this year not being live. Clearly, COVID has made a huge impact on everybody, but it is because of the likes of the Responsible Innovation Summit that I know I get enthused about what is possible. So delighted to be able to make it here. Couple of things. Just I was asked to maybe give an overview about social enterprise and maybe things that are happening in the sector. I have struggled so far with technology to be able to have one set of images of slides up and running, and then also have an image so that you can hear and watch and see. Unfortunately, for some reason, technology is against me. So, for the purposes of this, I am going to have the questions done and then maybe give you some answers. So, sit along, listen in. It'll only be a short period, but for all of it, I sincerely hope that if you are enjoying the Responsible Innovation Summit and getting the most out of it. My little piece is around social enterprise. So, as I said, my name is Chris Gordon. I'm CEO of the Irish Social Enterprise Network, a national body for social enterprise in Ireland. What is social enterprise? A lot of people have different answers for this, and they can be totally right. And a lot of it is to do with how it is that people have come in contact with social enterprise. So some people might think that they have an example of a social enterprise that suits them, and they might not be wrong, but it might not be the only type. So, social enterprise is an organization that sells something, products or services, and it reinvests that product or service for with the profit that it has for a social mission. So essentially, when they sell something, they have a profit. Profit is a really good thing, particularly in social enterprise. The more profit we have, the more impact we can have. So they might be able to put that towards something that has a good cause. So if you can think about it in general terms, if you sell something like cupcakes, and you sell those beautiful, gorgeous cupcakes for a profit, those profits then can be used for something good, like maybe tackling homelessness. Obviously, the more you produce products and services, in this case cupcakes, the more profit you have, the more money you have to spend and reinvest back in to helping more people who are homeless. In this example, it might be a little bit crude, but it gives you an overview. Social enterprise can often employ people who are socially excluded or marginalised or wouldn't necessarily have a job otherwise. And in those cases, they might be able to employ people who are homeless themselves, making cupcakes, doing things which are incredible, reinvesting those profits back in to building houses or doing whatever the organisation is set up for. When we think about the spectrum, we think about charitable entities that are out there just for goods, but very much heavily reliant on the government for core funding or perhaps for raising money by fundraising. And then on the far side, we've got tons of organisations that are for profit and private, that are set up just to line the pockets of the shareholders with profits. That is the capitalist world we live in. So you have those extremes of organisations selling stuff and getting profits, but and bettering themselves and making more money. And then you have charities that are obviously having an impact. Social enterprise sits squarely in the middle, and they are making a huge difference to our society at the moment. So, in social enterprise, social entrepreneurship, for anybody that doesn't know, you can check out more about our stuff at socent.ie, SOCENT.ie. We do an awful lot of work with organisations that are trying to raise their profile, and we obviously try and help to point them in the right direction to get the support that they need to get their idea off the ground or take their organisation to the next level. But they all think differently. This isn't just a case of being able to have an impact. It's about how do they have an impact that is resounding. And there's an awful lot of core issues that are going on right now. There's an awful lot of difficulties in being able to employ people. For example, those that might not necessarily be able to have a job because of a learning difficulty or physical disability. Normal business doesn't necessarily capture those people, and so they fall between the cracks. And an awful lot of people are unable to be able to get jobs because of a criminal background, or perhaps there's some other issue that they might not necessarily have been able to secure something. So being able to have organizations specifically set up to employ people that are socially excluded, it's a huge big deal. It obviously gives value, and it gives an awful lot of um, good opportunity for people to self-develop. And when doing so, we are having an impact on those that are most vulnerable in society. Of course, it's not the only thing. The environment is really important. For anybody that hasn't noticed, the world is burning. We need to do better. Social enterprises have got a huge role in that, and many social enterprises are often involved in reducing and circular economy and reuse and recycling. An awful lot of good organizations have impact by making sure that they're not generating products and services that are causing more issues. A lot of them are tending to upcycle and recycle, thus having a job for people that are skilled now in those certain areas, but also then having something that is useful and worthwhile in making it good for society and having a positive effect on the environment. Okay, stories. I suppose there's plenty of stories, and this is like picking your children. But one of them, I suppose, I'm going to have to say, because they have been involved in the social enterprise space for a number of years, and watching them grow has been excellent. From PACE, which works with people who have been in justice and probation, is based up in the north side of Dublin. It works with an awful lot of people who might not necessarily have a job because of their criminal backgrounds. So they set up a number of different things. One of them was Shop at Pace, which is they create baskets for flowers. They make those for Dublin City Council. They also make park benches and other things out of wood and metal. They also created and handmade a coffee cart, a mobile unit that they were able to transport to different places by car to sell coffee and other stuff. Those were then employing people who had criminal backgrounds, who had been involved in the justice system, to get a first opportunity perhaps in their lives to be able to work for themselves, or get some monies that they were paid and supported in doing so, getting new skills and working with customers and general members of society. Mugshots is a phenomenal social enterprise and has grown hugely. Pace also has a third project, a horticulture project that they're currently developing, which is to try and see if they can create something of the waste from the coffee beans and other materials, and then mix them and try and see if they can grow new products that they can sell, food and veg, that might be of use. So an extraordinary thing. Why did I pick them? Only recently did the manager of Pace win the Work NC European Network for Social Integrated Enterprises Work Integration Social Enterprise Manager Award 2020. Correct, that is the title. And a huge big congratulations to them. This is a European award, and Maggie Clune was the one that took it home. So phenomenal European, worldwide kudos to social enterprises that are working here in Ireland. It's an extraordinary effort. But it is an example where people can see how a charitable entity set up for a particular cause, obviously in this case transitioning people so that they don't end up in a place where they might reoffend, giving them a hope and a job and some other thing that might be useful, while also trying to make sure that there's an environmental aspect. And so all of those component parts together is really important. I think climate change is one of the major aspects of what we are trying to do, but it is one of many things that I think we need to see. And our job in social enterprise and social economy is to try and figure out how it is that we might be able to make a difference in Ireland. Of course, not just in Ireland. Europe is getting on well. We are just, myself in the Irish Social Enterprise Network, back from the European Social Economy Awards in Slovenia, where we saw some of the greatest and the best in social economy organizations all across Europe. And they were competing in digital skills, in just transitions, about transitioning people into, not just meaningless jobs, but meaningful jobs, and also in green recovery and how they might do a green transition. And it ranges. There are tons of different types of organizations all across the continent. Things like cooperative supermarkets, those that are employing several thousand people and are doing so by making sure that people who are shoppers reduce their carbon impact. So using less plastics, increasing the amount of renewable energies used to power these things and the supply chains. And so having a societal effect, not just a nationwide or a region-wide effect. Obviously, the locality is really important. So employing local people, making sure that people find benefit in that, and obviously worker-owned. Other organizations that we came across are ones that are teaching digital literacy skills to young people. We've got similar projects here in Ireland, those that are helping those that are most severely disadvantaged, particularly through COVID and the pandemic, in technology, and giving them the skills they need to compete with those that had a better start in life because of circumstance. So tons of different areas that social enterprise and social economy can work on. For those that don't know, social economy is now seen as one of the leading proponents across Europe, and with Nicola Schmidt, Commissioner Nicola Schmidt, there's going to be a European-wide social economy action plan that'll be launched on the 8th of December this year, 2021. In that plan, we expect a number of things, but to have a plan at all, to be able to talk about the social economy, the wider social economy, social enterprise, cooperatives, and all those types of things space is extraordinary. Apparently, some 2.8 million people are employed, and 10% of GDP, extraordinary amount of Europe involved in the social economy, which is just a brilliant thing to see happen. 2.8 million organizations. I think 13.6 million people are employed across all of the countries across Europe. So when I look at where we were over the past number of years across Europe, certainly there were things that were on the agenda, but it never really took hold. Now people are stepping up to the plate and realizing that if they don't get their voices heard now, what chance has the planet got? So we are now having, with this social economy action plan, a real opportunity to make a difference to our communities. A couple of other things that are happening in Ireland. Obviously, we are been working hard, as many other organisations have, and people individually, but particularly about how it is that the Irish Social Enterprise Network, we're very proud of helping change how the National Social Enterprise Policy became into being. We do have a National Social Enterprise Policy in Ireland. Since 2019, it is coming up for review. There will be another one for the next coming 3 years, and tons of great stuff is happening with that. They're putting money toward, government is putting money towards raising awareness for the social economy, and we in Ireland, in the Irish Social Enterprise Network, we run the Buy Social campaign at buysocial.ie. That is a list and a directory of social enterprises and social economy organisations that are selling products and services. A full list, you can log on and see who they are now. So if you were looking to see if there was a way to get involved, that is a really good way of doing so. But we've been trying to work with partners to make sure that that happens. Obviously, these things don't work in a vacuum. And so working with a number of social economy organisations, social enterprises in particular, making sure that they have all the supports that they need to tender and to win, because truthfully, all of our social enterprises are businesses. And each and every one of those businesses is not just a business. It's obviously got this other agenda of a social and or an environmental mission. And so the more that they can sell services, the more that they can directly impact people. And so our Buy Social campaign is about how to lift all of those so that everybody has an opportunity to purchase from a social enterprise. Social enterprises have an ability to sell. And so with the Buy Social campaign, it's about supply chains. How do we make sure we get into supply chains and make those things happen? So for us, it's an extraordinary lift. We love being involved in it, and we think it's got an extraordinary opportunity here in Ireland. Also, look out on Buy Social, i.e., Twitter and other social media channels for our Christmas campaign. We're looking forward to selling Christmas products and services from all of our social enterprises in the coming weeks. So do check that out. That is a Responsible Innovation Summit special. This is news, so please do check that out. I was asked maybe just to wrap up with how I thought about social economy organizations. Guys, the time is now. As I said, the world is burning. We don't really have time to mess about on the edges anymore. We need to make fundamental changes to how it is that we do things, because we don't want to leave anybody behind, and we certainly don't want to leave our planet in a worse state than we found it. And we're constantly doing that. So we can talk about it or we can make those changes. We try and make it easy for our social economy organizations to sell products and services, but we've got more to do and we need to do better. But it is also incumbent upon everybody who needs to think this way to purchase responsibly, not just to think about their little piece that they're doing. They might get, something sustainable as a little gift, for example, but then act in a way that is, funding those organizations that are not being sustainable. We all have conscious decisions, and we may think that we're alone, but just a little shout out to every single social entrepreneur, social enterprise that's here. You are not alone. The time is now for all of this. Years ago, I used to be able to teach in colleges and universities all across Ireland with little bits, and it used to be how younger people just wanted to set up businesses so that they could line their pockets with profits and get Ferraris. Now it's far more how can they make a difference by setting up a business that will make a difference in the world. And that is a fundamental change. People want to be able to be sustainable, don't get me wrong. People want fair job and fair pay, but they definitely want to make sure that they're not doing so by endangering any species on the planet or making sure that somebody is disenfranchised. They want to make sure they're doing the right thing. You can do the right thing by your actions and what you do. So my only thoughts would be for the Responsible Innovation Summit, for all of you attending, don't be just passive. Don't listen to this if you've got this far and think of stuff that you may or may not do. Please do be active. Don't just talk. Take action. One thing is the Buy Social campaign, but if you want to do others, just make little changes in your life that you think you might be able to act upon. You'll feel better for that, I have no doubt. So reaching the end, I just want to say thank you so much to the Responsible Innovation Summit again. Delighted that I can be a part of it, although sad it's not in person. We're looking forward to that coming up. Sorry for no slides, but when technology is better and I'm able to work this, I'll be able to figure out how to make that happen. However, for now, from me, thanks so much for listening. Check out socent.ie, SOCENT, for the Irish Social Enterprise Network, and for Buy Social is buysocial.ie, BUYSOCIAL.ie. Make sure that you check that out and think socially next time you want to purchase. And with that, thank you so much, and looking forward to catching up with you and sometime soon.